Alright folks, buckle up, because what I'm seeing on these latest runs is nothing short of jaw-dropping. We're not even out of October yet, and already winter is gearing up like it's got something to prove. The atmosphere is loading, the Arctic air is stacking up north of the border, and the jet stream is setting up to dive, hard, right across the heart of the United States. Now, I want you to think back for a moment. Remember the legendary winter of 2013-2014? That winter that felt like it would never end. The one that locked the Midwest and Great Lakes in snow and ice for months? Well, the early signals I'm seeing right now have that same energy. Not identical, but eerily familiar. And honestly, it's giving me chills, literally and figuratively. Because this setup could deliver one of the most relentless early starts to winter we've seen in over a decade. Let's start with what's coming right now. Within the next 7 days, we're going to feel that first real punch of Arctic air. The cold front that's dropping down through the northern plains is no joke. Behind it, we're looking at widespread frost, overnight lows in the 20s and 30s, and in parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota, even some teens showing up by the end of the month. That's how we're finishing October. Cold, biting winds sweeping across the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast. And then, as we roll into November, it's like someone flips the switch from fall to deep winter. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. The first week of November could feature our first major snow system stretching from the upper Midwest through the Great Lakes and into interior New England. I'm talking 6 to 12 inches for Minneapolis, Green Bay, and northern Michigan right off the bat. And as that low pulls east, it's going to drag lake effect bands right across Buffalo, Erie, and Cleveland. Classic early season setup. Don't be surprised if Buffalo picks up a quick foot of snow before Veterans Day. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The long-range pattern is showing repeated cold reloads, one after another. It's that kind of jet stream where the cold just keeps pouring south. That means November's going to act more like December. And by the time we hit the holidays, folks are going to be talking about how early this winter locked in. Let's break it down region by region, because this pattern is going to play out very differently depending on where you live dot the Midwest and Great Lakes. This is the bullseye. No question about it. If you're in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Northern Illinois, Indiana, or Ohio, get ready for what could be an above-average snowfall season from start to finish. We're talking 50 to 80 inches for many spots. And some of the snow belts off Lake Michigan and Lake Erie could push 100 inches or more by March. Chicago, you're looking at a solid 50 inches this year, well above normal. Cleveland, closer to 70. And for Buffalo, let's just say I wouldn't rule out another 100-inch season. It's that kind of setup. The Northeast. This year's cold air source looks primed to hit you early too. New York City, Boston, Hartford, Albany. You're going to feel winter much sooner than usual. Expect that first accumulating snow by early to mid-November, which is rare for you guys. As we go deeper into December and January, the coastal storm track becomes really active. That means nor'easters, the kind that dump 12 to 24 inches in one go. Boston could end the season around 60 inches, New York City closer to 40, and interior New England easily 80 to 100 inches in some higher elevations of Vermont and New Hampshire. This could rival 2013 in spots like Worcester and Portland, Maine. The Northern Plains. You're the engine of this cold pattern. The Arctic blasts will keep dropping right through Montana and the Dakotas before spilling south. Bismarck, Fargo, Rapid City. Get ready for consistent snowpack and frigid highs in the teens and 20s through most of January. Seasonal totals around 60 to 80 inches, with brutal cold shots that could send wind chills to 40 at times. The Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies. You guys are in for a good old-fashioned mountain winter. That jet stream's going to dip and reload through your region often. Expect early snow for Spokane, Boise, and Missoula by Halloween weekend. The Cascades and Rockies are looking at a banner year, with 300 to 400 inches of snow possible at elevation. Seattle and Portland won't escape the chill either. More cold rain and a few snow chances mixed in this year. The Central Plains and Midwest Transition Zone. Here's where it gets dicey. Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa. You'll ride that battle zone between Arctic cold and Gulf moisture all season long. That's the perfect recipe for repeated snow and ice events. Kansas City could end up near 30 inches this year, Omaha near 40, and I wouldn't be shocked if St. Louis saw several freezing rain events this winter. The South. Now, even though you're not known for your snow, don't get too comfortable. This pattern sends cold air deep, and I mean deep, into Texas and the deep South. Dallas, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, even parts of northern Mississippi and Alabama could see 1 or 2 measurable snow events this winter. I'm talking 1 to 4 inches possible in those areas, with overnight lows dipping into the 20s on multiple occasions. Nashville, you're in that sweet spot again this year. Maybe 10 to 15 inches total, which is big for you. The West and Southwest California, Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. Your story's going to be a mixed bag. The Sierra Nevada could have a strong snow year again, with 300 to 350 inches likely in higher elevations. But the lower valleys, colder and wetter than normal. Even Las Vegas and Phoenix could see frost and near-freezing nights this winter. Albuquerque, probably your snowiest season in 5 or 6 years. Now, let's talk December through February, the true heart of this pattern. December looks cold and stormy from coast to coast. By mid-December, I expect the entire central US to be locked under below-average temperatures. Think highs in the 20s and 30s, from Chicago to Pittsburgh to New York City. The energy in the Pacific is feeding into a very active storm track. And when that meets up with Arctic air over the Great Lakes and Northeast, we'll see repeated heavy snow events. By January, the core of this cold finally settles in. This could be the month people remember. The kind where pipes freeze, lake ice thickens fast, and even the South feels like winter has teeth. There's a good chance we'll see a few nationwide cold waves where 80% of the lower 48 is below freezing. That's how strong this Arctic influence could be. And here's something else. As we get into late January and February, that pattern may actually strengthen. The polar vortex looks like it wants to wobble south this year. And when that happens, we could see another round of brutal cold across the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast. This is when we could get our most impressive snow totals of the season. Those deep lake snow events that just don't quit. We're talking 3 to 4 feet in places like Syracuse, Erie, and Marquette. Meanwhile, the West should stay active with one storm after another, slamming into California and moving east. That's great news for water resources, but tough for travel. Now, if you're wondering, does this winter ever let up? Not anytime soon. Even March could stay cold and snowy for much of the northern US. This isn't one of those winters that ends early. It's going to hang on, probably through the first half of March, before we finally start to break the pattern. So, bottom line, this winter looks colder and snowier than normal across a huge portion of the country. Not extreme everywhere, but certainly memorable. If you remember how relentless 2013 felt, how you'd shovel the driveway, and then it'd snow again the next day, this year could feel a lot like that. So, let's talk about Melissa. Because right now, this storm is becoming one of those moments where the atmosphere decides to remind us who's really in control. I've been tracking Melissa's evolution over the last several days, and honestly, the rate of intensification has been shocking. It's moving over a region of extremely warm waters. A classic setup for rapid strengthening. And now all signs point to a direct hit on Jamaica as a major hurricane. This isn't just a passing system or a glancing blow. Melissa is slowing down, and that's one of the worst possible things that can happen with a storm like this. The slower it moves, the longer it hammers the same area. Meaning we're not just talking about a few hours of strong winds. We could be dealing with a day or more of relentless rain, life-threatening flooding, and widespread power outages. By tonight, conditions are already going to start going downhill across Jamaica. Winds picking up, outer bands rolling through. Then comes the core of the storm, likely sometime Sunday into Monday, and that's when things get dangerous fast. I'm talking about sustained winds, powerful enough to cause catastrophic damage, especially across the central and eastern parts of the island. There's even a chance Melissa reaches Category 4, maybe flirting with Category 5 strength, right as it moves in. So as I've been saying all week, this isn't about hype. It's about preparation. You still have a window to get ready, but that window is closing fast. Once those winds start howling and the rain starts pouring, it's too late to move. So do what you need to do now. Stay safe, stay smart, and remember, the storm will pass, but how you prepare before it arrives will make all the difference.